So far, we have learned that we print all type of data in the console using the print statement. So this string that is printed out can be declared explicitly here and can be used in these print statements as many times as you want. So we can just say system.out.println and inside the parentheses just give the name of the variable. And remember not to put double quotes here, otherwise it will literally print out the variable name here. So this statement here, it's called a variable. Let's break it down to help you better grasp what's going on here. So this myvar here is the variable name. So it could be anything you want. It could be myvar, my variable, x, y, z, whatever you want it to. So in Java, we behave as good coders and abide by the rules to avoid conflicts. So always write variable names in camel case. That means don't use spaces and capitalize each word, if not the first one. So anyways, myvar here is the variable name, hello ras, which is the value that we want to print out. Double quotes because obviously strings always need them. And this equal sign here is used to assign the variable. So it goes like this, that myvar, which is a string data type, is equals to hello ras. And then this variable can be used anywhere you want it to in your code and needs to be inside its scope. We can either write this or we can just declare the variable name and then data type first, and then can initialize it anywhere in our code when needed. And this is essentially a good coding practice. So this variable myvar here has been initialized explicitly, while in other case it is initialized implicitly and its data type is declared first. So one thing to keep in mind is that you can't use variables before it is declared. So this will produce an error and it does not know what we are talking about here. Similarly, we must initialize a string before using it. So by default, Java either sets the value to 0, null, or sets it to garbage before initialization. So Java is statically typed and we must specify the data type. And if we remove the string here, it will produce an error. But in languages like Python, which are dynamically typed, this would work just fine. There are two kinds of data types in Java: primitive data types and non-primitive ones, like arrays, classes, interfaces, and the ones we just talked about recently called strings. We will cover primitive data types in this video. As of Java SE 11, there are 8 primitive data types, and we will write all of them here real quick. So let me just comment all of them here. There's char, int, float, double, short, long, byte, and at last boolean. So let's talk about each one of them here, and we'll talk about them briefly and explain what they are. So first up, we have char. Let's name it grade. So char data types store a single 16-bit Unicode character. Could be any character from numbers to alphabets, and special characters could be any character you want. So grade is equals to A, and this is what I got in my last chemistry test, and it prints out an A grade. So remember that characters or chars are enclosed in single quotes, while string are enclosed in double quotes. So that's the main difference between strings and characters. Next up, we have int, which stands for integer, and it can store values from 2 to the power of negative 32 to positive 32. It's quite a big number. Let's say my age and set it equals to 18. However, we can't store decimal values in integers. For example, we say download status is equal to 99.99 and it is giving an error. So how do we solve that? So we just set the data type to floats. That's where floats come in handy, and floats can just store values with points in them. So let's print it out and it works just fine. Similarly, we use doubles to also store decimal values, but with double precision. So it's a double. Pi equals 3.14159265358. Yeah. So short for short numbers, long for long and precise numbers. And then there are bytes to store values between negative 128 to positive 127 max. And at last, we have the boolean data type to store either true or false. So let's say is test tomorrow and set it equals to true. It is very true, in fact. I have my chemistry test tomorrow and I'm here making YouTube videos. Now, you might be wondering why there are so many data types in Java when we could just use integer to store long, short, byte, etc. So the answer to that is memory allocation. So limiting the data type according to our needs might help us save memory. And it might not affect your Hello World program, but would definitely help for bigger applications for better performance and execution speed. So that was it. We just talked about variables and data types in Java, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.